I picked up the phone. I called the office back and I said, this is Cheryl Sullivan again. I said, listen, you can think I'm a whack job. I said, but my dog knows something's wrong and I need to come in.
Dog people, thank you for coming back to Rescued by a Dog, the podcast about dogs that have actually saved their owners' lives. I'm Laura, host of the podcast. You can probably hear my dog, Izzy, licking her paws next to me. And I want to thank today's sponsor, my favorite celebrity pup, Fitz the Scotty, who is known for his hilarious antics, present opening skills, and his expertise in bamboozling his mom. You can find him on Instagram at the handle Fitz the Scotty, all one word, or on TikTok at Netfitz, Netfitz. If you need more joy in your life, Fitz can deliver. Today, you're going to hear from Cheryl, whose pup Sami found a way to tell her she needed to go to the hospital immediately. Oh, I can hear you now. Hi.
Hi.
Who's this?
This is Sami.
Hi, Sami.
This is Finnegan.
And how much do they weigh?
Sami's 24 pounds and Finnegan is 17.
Oh, she's little.
She's little. She was hit by a car. She was a rescue from Arkansas. She had a broken leg and she was on the youth list, and she was rescued by a woman in Arkansas named Sharon Hammond from Pine Bluff Animal Control or Pine Bluff Shelter. And she was just about to be euthanized, and Sharon went and got her and took her home and rehabilitated her. She runs she has no tail. I have no idea what happened to her tail, but she runs like a gazelle.
She's so cute. And bless you for rescuing her. I love that. They're so beautiful.
So she's a Basenji Chihuahua, whatever. And he's a Basenji Keeshond.
Hi, cutie. Are you a good boy?
Sami's a Keeshond, he's two of the rarest breeds of dogs, Basenji and Keeshond.
So I don't even know what the Keeshond is.
It's a big, fluffy, wintry dog. They're African hunting dogs. They were given to pharaohs as gifts. So if you see the little Egyptian dogs on the, that was a Basenji. So he's from the projects in Brockton. So
projects in where?
In Brockton, Mass. When we first got him, he would make these horrific, horrible sounds. And Basenjis have really weird vocal cords. Oh. And that's what we were like, what is this dog? What's going on? It sounded like it was screaming, and she does the same thing. If they see somebody in the window, they're like, oh, and they go crazy because their vocal cords are different. They bark. They're supposed to be barkless dogs, but they're basically, let's see if I can see his ears. He's got these weird, beautiful ears.
Yeah, they're pretty. They're kind of swirly a little bit.
They're a little evil looking. They're bat kind of. My daughter, who suffers from anxiety and depression, was 18 or 19 at the time. I had Gizmo and Jazzy. When she called me on the phone, she was at her boyfriend's house, and she said, Mom, I just found a dog. And I said, what? She said, I found a dog in a snowstorm. I'm like, what? In walks my daughter on an April snowstorm day with this tiny little dog, which was Sami. And the minute she opened the door and walked in the house, I knew it was my dog. I said, okay, you got to put posters out and, call the vet's office. Okay, so a week goes by and we hear nothing. And my husband's like, okay, where's this dog going? And I'm like, knowing the whole time the dog's not going anywhere. But my daughter's email came up, and all of a sudden I see this person holding up this dog, for $100. And I'm like, my daughter lied and said she found him in a snowstorm, but she bought him she was depressed. So her boyfriend bought her this dog, and they drove all the way to Brockton for $100 to pick him up. And the mother didn't want him. Her son brought it home, and he was the picture of him was so pathetic. He was like, please, somebody get me out of here. And I'm like, okay, Tara, so let's spill your beans. And she knew that I would say no, if she did that, right? So he was so tiny and he had this curly little tail with a white tip and I was like, oh my God, that's my dream dog. But Sammy's a very sweet, loving soul. Very sweet. I always say he's a person in a dog's body. The way he looks at you, he knows what you're thinking. You know what he's thinking. He was about 12 weeks old when we got him. So basically he was just born and somebody had given this like 13-year-old kid a dog and said, take it home to your mother. And, he took it home and the mother was like, absolutely not. And just posted it for $100.
What was happening in your life when you met him?
So I had the 2 older dogs. I had one dog that was very sick, but Jazzy got really sick and died. And then 4 months later, Gizmo died. Then Sammy was lonely. And of course I had to get Finn. She fit right in perfectly. She's the sweetest, most submissive dog I've ever had in my life. So 3 years ago, I fell down my stairs. I slipped on a sock on the runner, and I had a trimallear fracture of my right ankle. So basically, my right ankle was hanging off of my leg, and I had to hold. Yeah. It didn't break the skin. It was just about to the bone, but the bone broke off on both sides, and I was literally holding my ankle onto my leg.
Were your dogs there?
Yes.
What were they doing?
They were barking and running around, and they knew that I was hurt. I didn't feel anything.
I'm sure later.
I got up and went up the stairs and brushed my teeth.
With your ankle falling off?
Mm-hmm.
How did you walk on it?
I don't remember.
Your ligaments kept it together, I guess.
Unless I hopped, I don't remember. But my husband's like, Cheryl, you got up and you went to the bathroom and brushed your teeth. But definitely in shock, definitely. So they whisked me away in an ambulance. They flipped my leg back together and they put a cast on it and they sent me home. So I'm home for 2 weeks and nothing's going on. No one's acting weird, but I needed surgery, like desperately, to reattach my leg back to my foot back to my leg. I go into like major 4-hour surgery, and they give me a nerve block so I can't feel anything. And I come home. Now, I'm pretty much bedridden. I'm in bed. I would have to say it's like 16 hours after surgery. And Sammy was sleeping with me. And Sammy always has to sleep up against you. He has to feel your body. And he just started acting like really kind of weird. He would guard my leg and he would pace around the bed and sit down and get up again and sit down. And he was telling me something, but it was hard for me to like figure out kind of it wasn't hard for me. It was very easy, I should say. It wasn't hard. He was just persistent in the way he was telling me that something was wrong. So Finnegan would come up to the bed and Sammy would immediately jump off the bed and push her down the stairs. Now, he's growled at her before, but he's never literally taken her and like walked her down, like, get out of here. Don't come near my mother. Don't come near me. So like, okay, here's my pen. I'm like, let me just call the doctor's office. I don't know. Something made me pick up the phone. I said, okay, I just had my surgery. I'm just checking in. Do you think anything could be wrong? They're like, well, do you have any pain in your leg? And I'm like, well, no, I can't feel anything. And I can't see anything. I don't have any bruising because, at least I can't see it because I have a cast on. And they're like, well, we're going to be here all day. If you need anything, just call us back. And I'm like, okay, fine. I hang up the phone and Sammy's like, what? You hung up the phone? So he starts pacing, jumping off the bed, pushing her away, pacing and pacing, sitting on my cat. Like he was like saying to me, there's something wrong and you need to do something about it. 3 hours goes by and I'm like, I can't take this dog doing what he's doing. This is insane. I'm like, something's wrong and I need to call the office. So I picked up the phone. I called the office back and I said, "This is Cheryl Sullivan again." I said, "Listen," in my exact words, I said, "You can think I'm a whack job." I said, "But my dog knows something's wrong and I need to come in." And they're like, "Okay, come on in." Now, mind you, I literally, the last thing I wanted to do was get back into, lifted into a car, have my cast sawed off. I just wanted to go back to bed and take a painkiller and go to bed. I did not want to get out of that bed. I said to myself, it was almost like I didn't pick up the phone. Like, it was really weird. I can't explain it. So I get into the doctor's office. I go into a room. They sawed my cast off and they sent me upstairs to the vascular people. And they did an ultrasound. I had a blood clot. It's a thrombosis. It's basically a blood clot that can kill you. It can go right to your lungs. Dogs speak, but people need to listen. So if I didn't listen and act, then I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
How do you think he sensed it? Because, like, we know dogs can smell infection and stuff, but that's different from a blood clot.
Right. And I was honestly, I had 2 surgeries after this surgery, and he never acted like this with the other surgeries. So at first I was thinking maybe he smelled blood, but he knew. And I think, I mean, how do dogs know? They know from their nose, their scent.
There must have been a smell change somehow, like cortisol, who knows?
Right. And when I called the hospital back the whole time, every time I called back, like, "Oh, you're the lady with the dog." And I'm like, "Yeah, but thank you to my doctor for listening to me." The doctor could have said to me, "No, I'm sorry. I don't have time for
That's
this."
crazy. He could have said it's crazy.
Right. He could have said, "If you don't have any scent, you can just stay home. You're fine." And the doctor said, "Absolutely, come right in." So they immediately put me on a blood thinner and sent me home. And there's a 50% chance that the blood thinner will get rid of it forever, or you're going to stay on blood thinners. The minute I came home and I was on the blood thinner, I had no reaction from Sammy. Sleeping with me, but no anxiety, no nothing. He knew that I got help. My recovery was long, and I don't walk right. I was a runner. I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. I didn't walk for 7 to 8 months. It was a really traumatic injury I had. My mother died the day after Sammy found the blood clot. My mother died suddenly. So it was a real difficult time.
How did Sammy and Finn support you emotionally through that difficult time?
They were just with me. Just the love and just being like, "Look at this dog." I mean, that's just, Sammy's the same way. He's asleep on the couch over there. They're just very loving animals.
If Sammy could understand human English, what would you like to say to him?
I think he actually does understand it. So I'm always saying something, but maybe thank you. And that I, love him, and like everything happens for a reason, right? Dogs are brought into your life. Like Finn was meant to be my dog. Sammy was meant to be my dog.